When Qiao Pai heard that his younger brother Qiao Zhang was approaching with troops, he was greatly alarmed and immediately summoned his ministers to discuss the matter. At this moment, the grandee remonstrant Jia Kui stepped forward and volunteered to persuade Qiao Zhang to withdraw. Qiao Pai was overjoyed and sent him at once to receive Qiao Zhang outside the city. Upon meeting him, Qiao Zhang immediately asked, "Where are the late king's imperial seal and sash?" Jia Kui answered sternly, "In a household, the eldest son inherits. In a state, the crown prince succeeds. The late king's seal is not something your lordship should inquire about." Qiao Zhang was left speechless and followed Jia Kui into the city. At the palace gate, Jia Kui asked again, "Have you come to mourn, or to contend for the throne?" Qiao Zhang replied, "I have come only to mourn." "Then why bring soldiers into the city?" Jia Kui demanded coldly. Qiao Zhang at once ordered his troops to withdraw and entered the palace alone to see Qiao Pai. The two brothers embraced and wept. Qiao Zhang surrendered his entire army to Qiao Pai. Qiao Pai then ordered him to return to Yanling to garrison there, and Qiao Zhang departed after taking his leave. After securing his position, Qiao Pai changed the era name from Jianan 25 to Yan Kong 1. He appointed Jia Su as Grand Commandant, Hua Xian as Chancellor, and Wang Lang as Minister of Justice. Officials large and small were promoted and rewarded. He posthumously honored Cao Cao as King Wu and buried him at Jialing in Yi Commandery, assigning Eugene to oversee the tomb. When Eugene arrived at the mausoleum, he saw painted on a white wall the scene of Guan Yu flooding the 7 armies and capturing him. Guan Yu sat in majestic dignity. Pang De stood defiant and unyielding. Eugene himself was depicted kneeling and begging for mercy in humiliating disgrace. Qiao Pai despised Eugene for having been captured and surrendering before later returning to Wei, and had ordered the painting specifically to shame him. Eugene, overwhelmed with humiliation and anger, fell ill and soon died. Later generations lamented. For 30 years he spoke of loyal friendship. Yet in crisis he failed his lord. He knew men but not their hearts. The tiger now painted reveals the bones within. Hua Xian memorialized Qiao Pai, saying, "The Marquis of Yanling has departed with his troops, but the Marquis of Linzi, Qiao Ji, and the Marquis of Xiaohuai, Qiao Xiong have not come to mourn. They should be questioned." Qiao Pai sent envoys. Soon came word that Qiao Xiong, fearing punishment, had hanged himself. Qiao Pai ordered him buried with honor, and posthumously granted him the title Prince Xiaohuai. Hearing that the envoy had arrived, Qiao Ji sat unmoved. Ding Yi cursed angrily, claiming that Qiao Qiao had once intended to make Qiao Ji heir, but had been thwarted by treacherous ministers. Ding Yi's brother added that Qiao Ji's talent surpassed all, and that he should have inherited. Qiao Ji even ordered guards to beat the envoy out. Enraged, Qiao Pai commanded Su Chu to lead 3,000 tiger guards to Linzi. The defending officer tried to block them, and was slain on the spot. Entering the residence, they found Qiao Ji and the Ding brothers drunk. All were bound and taken to Yi. Qiao Pai ordered the execution of Ding Yi and his brother. Many lamented the deaths of these gifted scholars. Empress Dowager Bian, already heartbroken by Qiao Xiong's suicide, was further terrified upon hearing that Qiao Ji had been arrested and the Ding brothers executed. Disregarding ceremony, she hurried from her chamber and summoned Qiao Pai. Seeing his mother in tears, Qiao Pai knelt at once. Through sobs she said, "Your brother has been gifted since childhood. His only faults are pride and indulgence in wine. You are both elder brother and emperor. Remember your shared blood and spare his life. If he dies by your hand, how shall I close my eyes in peace after death?" Qiao Pai replied softly, "I cherish his talent. How could I bear to kill him? Yet the state has laws. I mean only to curb his arrogance. Still weeping, she withdrew. Qiao Pai then consulted Hua Xian privately. Hua Xian warned that Qiao Ji's brilliance and popularity could become a future threat. Soon Qiao Ji was brought in, pale and kneeling in submission. Qiao Pai said coldly, "Though brothers, we are now ruler and subject. You boast of literary skill. I suspect others write for you. Compose a poem within 7 steps. If you succeed, you live. If not, you die." Qiao Ji requested a theme. Qiao Pai pointed to a painting of 2 oxen fighting, one falling into a well, and ordered him to compose without using words from the painting. Qiao Ji walked 7 steps and completed a poem that astonished the court. Qiao Pai then demanded another, this time on brotherhood, forbidding the use of the words brother or younger brother. After a brief pause, Qiao Ji recited, "Beans are boiled with bean stalks as fuel. The beans within the pot weep. Born of the same root. Why should we torment each other so hastily?" Silence filled the hall. Qiao Pai's expression changed and tears fell. Empress Dowager Bian emerged, reproaching him. "Why press your brother so cruelly?" Qiao Pai steadied himself. The law of the state cannot be set aside. In the end, he spared Qiao Ji but demoted him to Marquis of Anxiang, stripped him of military power, and sent him far away. Thus the gifted poet was exiled, and the sorrow of brothers lived on through his poem. After ascending the throne, Qiao Pai further pressured Emperor Xian of Han. News reached Chengdu, where Liu Bei was shocked. Qiao Pai presses the Son of Heaven even more than Qiao Qiao. Liu Bei said, "Sun Quan has submitted to Wei. I shall first punish Eastern Wu for Guan Yu's death, then march north to eliminate the traitors." Liao Hua urged the execution of Lu Feng and Mengda for failing to rescue Guan Yu. Zhuge Liang advised delaying action and first separating them. Liu Bei promoted Lu Feng to guard Mianzhu. Peng Yang secretly corresponded with Mengda, but his letter was intercepted by Ma Chao. In drunken words, Peng Yang had spoken of rebellion. Ma Chao reported to Liu Bei, and Peng Yang was imprisoned and executed. Hearing of Peng Yang's execution, Mengda was terrified. Already under suspicion for failing to aid Guan Yu, he feared for his life. Xin Dan of Shangyong advised him to defect to Wei for safety. After hesitation, Mengda wrote a formal resignation and fled by night with a small escort to Wei. Liu Bei, reading his letter, was furious and wished to lead troops personally. Zhuge Liang counseled sending Lu Feng instead. If he won, his loyalty would be tested. If he failed, there would be grounds for punishment. Mengda was received by Qiao Pai, who doubted him. When news arrived that Lu Feng was advancing with 50,000 troops, Qiao Pai ordered Mengda to prove his loyalty. Mengda suggested persuading Lu Feng by letter. Qiao Pai appointed him general and administrator of Xinqing, stationing him at Xiangyang with Xia Hoshang and Su Huang as support. Mengda wrote urging Lu Feng to defect. Lu Feng tore up the letter and executed the envoy. In battle, Mengda feigned defeat and lured Lu Feng forward. Ambushes by Xia Hoshang and Su Huang crushed Lu Feng's army. Fleeing back, Lu Feng found Shangyong and Fangling already surrendered to Wei. Pursued and routed, he escaped to Chengdu with only a handful of men. Liu Bei angrily condemned and executed Lu Feng. Later learning that Lu Feng had indeed refused Mengda's persuasion, Liu Bei felt regret. Grieving for Guan Yu as well, he fell ill and suspended military action. Qiao Pai led 300,000 troops south, offering sacrifices at Qiao County in Pei. Xiahou Dun died of illness and was buried with honors. That August, auspicious signs, Phoenix, Qilin, and Yellow Dragon, were reported. Li Fu and Su Ji argued that Wei should replace Han. Hua Xian, Wang Lang, Jia Su, and more than 40 officials petitioned Emperor Xian of Han to abdicate in favor of Cao Pai. Thus, the House of Wei now rises. The realm of Han slips away. How the emperor would respond, this awaits the next chapter. Summary. This chapter portrays Cao Pai's consolidation of power after his succession. He neutralizes Cao Zhang through diplomacy, humiliates Eugene to establish authority, executes the Ding brothers, and tests Cao Ji with poetry, revealing both political calculation and personal insecurity. Meanwhile in Shu, the death of Guan Yu triggers internal turmoil. Peng Yang is executed, Meng De defects to Wei, Lu Feng is defeated and put to death, and Liu Bei, grieving and weakened, sees his state suffer. Wei, bolstered by auspicious omens, prepares to compel Emperor Xian to abdicate. The transfer of power from Han to Wei becomes inevitable, and the tripartite balance among Wei, Shu, and Wu grows ever clearer. Knowledge points. 1. The famous seven-step poem episode, in which Cao Pai threatens Cao Ji with death if he fails to compose a poem in 7 steps, does not appear in the official records of the Three Kingdoms Sengguozi. The poem comes from a new account of Tales of the World, Shishua Xinyu, a collection of Weijin anecdotal literature. Its historical reliability is therefore uncertain. 2. The novel depicts Cao Pai deliberately humiliating Eugene with a mural. Historically, Eugene was indeed captured and later returned to Wei, dying in melancholy. However, there is no record in the Sengguozi of the wall painting humiliation. This detail is likely a dramatic embellishment. 3. The novel states that Cao Xiong hanged himself out of fear of punishment. Historical records indicate that Cao Xiong died young, but the cause is unclear. There is no definitive evidence that he committed suicide. The hanging may be a fictional dramatization.